Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. Or yes, today we have a great panel. Like you can see, Michael there. Michael been there a lot of times on Almighty Blues FC. It is back to Champions League nights, and I thought, Michael, you are the best because you know your stuff across Europe, and I'm sure you're probably going to be sharing a lot of stats out there as well as a lot of things that happen over the weekend. And yes, talking about the weekend, people out there, we will be discussing quickly on what happened on that Super Sunday because yes, loads of things happened. Tables have gone topsy turvy in various leagues, but yes, like I said, it's Chelsea versus Lille as you can expect, and Villarreal versus Juventus. A tie that has gone under the radar. A lot to be spoken about, so we'll get into it. But first and foremost, people out there, do check out the description. Michael's channel is there. I think it's there, the link as well as the title. So yes, Michael talks football. Michael, welcome back. How have you been? Happy with
Good.
Liverpool, I'm sure.
Title race is on. Title race is on. The quadruple is on. I'm good. Thank you very much. There's a massive blizzard outside here in Finland. It's, I think, 15 kilometers per hour winds and snow is coming into my face. But now I'm nice and warm and we get to discuss Champions League football, the best football out there.
100%. And people will get into Champions League proper, as in proper, in the sense. But yeah, Sebastian, he already has his predictions in. Interesting. I'll take that. Of course, Villarreal, even that's interesting. And I'm pretty sure that's going with the norm. But yeah, talking about the predictions, there is a poll out there. So anyone watching, please do take the poll. And first and foremost, let's like the stream. Yes, today's stream will be primarily in English, as in, obviously because we have kind of Michael and Taron. Taron is basically a Londoner, so definitely he knows his stuff. He goes to Stamford Bridge every weekend, so we thought it's best for a big Champions League night. We'll get back Taron and of course Michael as well. And it's been a long time since I've kind of catered to the international audience, so they've been complaining. Hopefully, they will join in and people do share on social media. Anyone watching. And not just international, like even India, that we speak the language of football. You're going to enjoy the stream, trust me, because Champions League nights is something that I personally love the most, compared to any football, right? But yes, TFFT, big up, yes, Michael. No secrets there. You could probably answer that.
You'll never walk alone.
Yes. I think TFFT is a Manchester United fan in the house. So yes, we have a lot of kind of variation in the panel itself and the chat. Yes, Just Viola, big up to Just Viola, always supporting the channel. Big up to you. Hopefully Chelsea win. And the City Hub, yes. Again, same club, City Hub. He's your rival, your main rival for the title challenge. At least for the time being, unless things change again. I don't know. Let's see. That'll be really interesting. But yeah, talking about that, let's actually discuss this, the Sunday's results, right? Across leagues. I think first and foremost, we've got to speak about, as in the man, the myth, the legend. I don't know which one. It's Aubameyang. Aubameyang getting a hat trick, technically. I know that by the time we did a watch along, and we actually thought it was a brace, but it turned out to be a hat trick eventually. So, do you think, yes, great win over Valencia, and Xavi is doing wonders in the recent weeks with Barcelona, but in this particular game, I saw a strange chemistry between Aubameyang and Dembele, right? More than Torres, for example. So is it like Dembele and Aubameyang off-field kind of things have kind of worked on-field, and that's a good thing, and that can be the future of Barcelona in this season?
Well, don't you remember that Aubameyang and Dembele used to play with each other at Dortmund, so they already have good chemistry with each other from there. I think in the season they played together at Dortmund, I think Dembele assisted 10 times to Aubameyang in that season at Dortmund. So they have good chemistry with each other. And I think Aubameyang just looks like a much happier person. He got out of the Arteta shackles and now he's unleashed in the La Liga. And that first goal he scored, that's an Aubameyang finish. That's like a true striker's finish right there from Aubameyang. And then the second goal was just nice. I mean, the build-up play from Barcelona for the second and third goal was just magnificent to watch. I mean, Xavi ball, you got to give it credit. It's working out at the moment. It's looking very good. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. And Pedri and Frankie de Jong, they're absolutely amazing players. I must say that right now. I know de Jong's had a little bit of a down year this year, but I think Pedri, oh my God, the guy is just a special player, only at 19 years old. And Barcelona looking good. For Valencia, it's just, I don't know what's happened to this club. Remember like a decade ago, they were in Champions League all the time, group stage.
Absolutely. And not only that, I think they kind of got the better of Chelsea a couple of years ago. Like, I remember seeing them, on the counter, pretty strong, kind of team they were. But I think talking about that, sorry to cut you there, but as you spoke about Pedri and the likes, right? The fact that even Frenkie De Jong, like I think one person that's not been spoken about by multiple channels I know in the last 24 hours is Sergio Busquets. I know he's been criticized as well in the recent past, but in a strange way against Valencia, he was just letting them play, and he was having a lot of possession, and that might be is that kind of balance that they need. I don't know if that's something that they can continue in every game, but. Is there a replacement for Busquets at all in the squad? I'm not pretty sure.
Not really, because they tried to play De Jong at CDM. I think on midweek against Napoli. They tried to play him at the CDM role, and it didn't quite work out for them. Or it wasn't Napoli, but they tried to play De Jong at one of the CDM roles, and it didn't work out. But eventually, they have to replace Busquets. I mean, he's getting old. Let's be honest. Father time calls, and it's soon coming to Sergio Busquets. But really, they need to get defensively some center backs and eventually replace Jordi Alba. That's what they need to definitely replace Barcelona, because they're on a good trajectory at the moment. Just defensively, they need to get sorted out. And I don't know how long we can say about Ter Stegen. The guy has made a lot of mistakes in the last couple of years. I got to be honest. I don't know if he's that sort of top goalkeeper anymore that when he came to Barcelona, highly rated. But now a lot of these mistakes are coming this season and last season. So let's see what. I think Barcelona are going to have a very, very busy summer transfer window with a top striker, and they need to get defenders.
And I think he was just lucky, right? That was offside. But I don't know what he was trying, Ter Stegen. You're right. I totally agree. But definitely, Amar Reddy, what's going on? Yes, football is going on as always. Michael is in the house and we're expecting Taron. Like I mentioned in the watch along yesterday, we are going to be discussing Champions League football, especially the games on Tuesday. And of course, just rounding up Sunday for the time being. And people watching, do smash that like. Check out the description for Michael Talk Football, and do subscribe to Almighty Blues FC. Certainly helps, and press that bell notification icon for both the channels. But talking about things which are abnormal, right? As in with Aubameyang coming back to form. No pun intended, Arsenal fans. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? I'm pretty sure you'll agree. But talking about Arsenal as well, Jack Wilshere finally gets a club. Do you think there's a comeback? I don't know.
No, there isn't. Do you know the club he signed for? It's Aarhus in Denmark. And because I follow the Danish league because it's the best Nordic league. They're 5th or 6th in the Danish league, and they're trying to push for European spot. But, I mean, Jack Wilshere hasn't played in 8 months. I mean, he's trying to get his comeback going. I've seen him on Talk Sport, talking football, but he's at the twilight of his career. He's pretty much done. I think he's just trying to get a European journey at the moment. And why not try it in Denmark? It should be a good enough experience for him. And if it works out, all the best for Jack Wilshere. I know he's a talented footballer, but he's just had so many injuries on him. And I think just the injuries have kind of gotten to him and his motivation of playing football. But interesting choice. I've never expected him to go to Aarhus in Denmark. That is the most random club I've probably seen a player sign for, is really Jack Wilshere going to Aarhus. But hey, stranger things have happened in football. So all the best to Jack Wilshere.
Yes. By the way, here we are seeing Sadiq Bhai in the house, and of course he's going to join us. People who are watching, we will be covering obviously Manchester United, build up as well. For which Sadiq Bhai will be joining us tomorrow. So we have a lot of as in proposals here in terms of what Barca transfer window is going to be like, and we'll come back to that for sure. But having said that, another person who's in the news is obviously we spoke about Harry Kane, what exploits he had against Man City. And it is Man City, and I don't know, Harry Kane, waking up at the right hour. All of a sudden today, Michael, there is a lot of news or rumors that suddenly, Harry Kane to Chelsea, Harry Kane to Manchester United. It is a strong possibility. It might give basically the rise to that domino effect that we've been probably looking forward to as football fans over the last summer as well. But what is your gut feel? Where will Harry Kane end up come next season?
Just depends on how Tottenham do this season. I think it really just depends on that. If they can get top 4, he's not going anywhere. If they can challenge for a top 4 and Harry Kane can see that, he'll still stay. I don't know what Harry Kane wants. Does he want to win trophies? Does he want to lead Spurs back to glory, or whatever glory that is? Because we don't know what is going on at the moment with Harry Kane. He had a fantastic game on Saturday against Man City. That was a 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10 performance from him. But at the moment, I really can't say where he's going to go. It's just flip a coin, see where it lands, and you just pick that club because he could go to Man City, but Man City just signed Julian Alvarez, so I don't know if he's really gonna go there. Manchester United, I don't see Man United going for him, to be honest. So it really is interesting to see where Harry Kane will go, but I just gotta say he absolutely destroyed Diaz and Laporte on the weekend. That's all I gotta say. Good job, Harry Kane.
Absolutely. And yes, talking about English football, certainly, as in some results, obviously Manchester United fans, I'm pretty sure there are Manchester United fans in the house as well. So Manchester United winning 4-2 away at Leeds. So you can say that probably that was coming, knowing Bielsa, the kind of football Bielsa plays. But the game was a great watch, and we did watch along. But in that particular game, one man which kind of stood out for me is Jadon Sancho. And I know Jadon Sancho, we've been speaking lots on other streams, Michael. Do you think finally the time has come for him to stand up? Because it was not just Leeds. I thought his overall performance was much better in this game. What was the reason for it, do you think? What is the difference?
I just think, he's getting more accumulated with English football. I have to say, in the last couple of weeks, Sancho and Pogba have been doing fantastic, in my opinion. I think they've been the standout players for Manchester United because Pogba is balling out and Sancho is showing his qualities. I just think sometimes with the transfer, you need time, right? And, people can easily to judge, oh, he's a bust. He's not going to work out as a transfer. You sometimes need to give it time. And if it doesn't work out at the end of the season, then you can say that. But sometimes with transfers, looking at Jadon Sancho, I knew he was a fantastic player at Dortmund. You just got to give him time. And at the beginning of the season, he wasn't starting, right? He would come into the starting lineup, then come out, then come in, start off the bench. So I think Sancho just needed a run of games to get his form going. And that assist to Bruno, I mean, my God, that was a fantastic assist from Jadon Sancho. So about the game, as soon as it went 2-0 for Man United, I was like, they're going to bottle this again. And they did it in even shorter time, 25 seconds between both Leeds goals. And I was like, wow, this is, because it was end-to-end stuff, basically, the game. It was very high intensity, a proper, shall we say, Barclays Premier League match, just high intensity in the rain, rivalry there. The fans were going crazy. And then as soon as Pogba came off, I was like, what is Rangnick doing? Pogba is having a fantastic game, brings on Fred. And I was like, oh no, Man United are going to lose another game having a lead. But wow, the substitutions paid off. Both of the substitutes scored, Elanga and Fred. I got to give credit to Ralph Rangnick, man. He got the tactics spot on in the second half, even though they were under the pressure and Leeds never stopped running. They can run 300 marathons in a year and they'll still go but it was awesome game to watch. Even though I'm a Liverpool fan, I got to give credit to Man United. They haven't showed a lot of mentality in the last couple of weeks, but in that game they had the right mentality and they said, all right, we're not going to give it up. And you saw how Harry Maguire celebrating in front of the fans as well, really trying to get on their side. I thought
he actually cleared it out, right? I don't know whether it was a pun, but basically it's his friend who's a Leeds fan and he was as in behind him for a couple of weeks.
Okay,
and that's one of the reasons. But again, that's debatable. And social media, how it is, right? So probably them clearing out social media, we've been discussing on streams recently, probably is a thing of basically modern times. That's where we are, unfortunately. But definitely it'll be interesting how Manchester United line up against Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid had a great weekend as well. But as in we'll be discussing in detail that, and one team which is missing a lot of players is Leicester City. Losing to Wolves. I know here there was a comment about Wolves defenders, being targets for Chelsea. But what do you think? Like Leicester, apart from the players that they're missing, can Brendan Rodgers really save his job? Is it time for them to change?
I just think you got to give time to Brendan Rodgers. Even though I don't really rate him as a manager, I think he's just defensively not good at all. And what do you have to do when you win a Premier League? You have to be defensively solid. So that's the problem I feel like with Leicester City. And, they've had so many injuries. I mean, the whole back line has changed over and over again for Brendan Rodgers. But I just think this is a throwaway sort of season. Focus on the Conference League. That's the main thing. Focus on the Conference League. You have a great chance of qualifying to the Europa League. Get European football back next year. So I think that's the main focus for Leicester City. And for Wolves, I mean, I didn't think they played. I thought Leicester deserved to win the game on Sunday, judging by the highlights. So, I mean, Wolves, if they beat Arsenal on, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, they're going to get in the top 4 conversation, even though they are already, but even more if they beat Arsenal away. So it's going to be fascinating. Who do you think is going to finish in the 4th position right now, Ankit? Who do you think?
Wow. You're putting, what? I went on record saying it's going to be Arsenal. But again, no, it's anyone's call because Conte, knowing Conte, and I think those clutch moments is what Conte is all about. His teams are all about. Kane, Son, they cannot live without Champions League football next season. I feel that it's time basically for them to move. And as I say that, we have a champion in the house as well, and that's the world champion, and that is
Oh.
Taron. Taron, big up, brother. How are you?
Yeah,
How's
you're
the
right,
feel?
guys. Doing okay? Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
All good, all good. Yes, of course. It's a big Champions League week, so I had to get basically one of the champions in Taron. So, Taron, we were just actually starting off with the Sunday roundup, just to speak about the Premier League and whatnot. But I think one league that I'll quickly as an ask you guys. And yes, by the way, Arsenal, if no major injury concerns, yes, that's basically one of the popular choices, but it's anyone's call, like I say, right? Again, there's a poll, people who take it as well, because we'll come to the Champions League games. But before that, Taron, one league that has, I don't know, surprised everyone, that is, for me, probably the best league in recent couple of months has been Serie A, because Serie A has been so close, and I know about close. It's almost like that 2013-14 season when no club wanted to, win in the Premier League. No one wants to win in Serie A. Like in the weekend, I think AC Milan drew. Then we had Inter losing to Sassuolo, and I think even the other game was, of course, I think Juventus, if I'm not wrong, they also drew. So I don't know, Taron, what is your call on Serie A? Like, you think it's time for Napoli finally, not to bottle?
I think Napoli were doing amazingly well. They hadn't lost the game until Victor Osimhen got injured. So if he did stay fit, I think it could have been a similar kind of stat to now. But obviously, since that injury to their main striker, they had to kind of makeshift with Dries Mertens and other players to kind of play in that false nine position. But I think AC Milan have kind of pulled away a little bit. I watched Inter Milan a lot in the Serie A, especially in the Champions League midweek. And to be honest, a lot of people were saying Inter Milan had a great performance. For me, it looked like Liverpool, in fact, looked really poor, and Inter Milan really didn't have any firepower up front, in my opinion. Dzeko was stale. Lautaro Martinez was stale. The attacking tactics with Dumfries and Perisic, I wasn't a big fan of. And I think Pioli has some great tactics right now for AC Milan. So I'd say a lot of their big players stepping up. Olivier Giroud has really kind of adapted recently to that league. We've been seeing as Chelsea fans all over the timeline that Giroud scored, always instant update, and he's done very well. So I say AC Milan are just edging ahead for me right now. Brahim Diaz is doing great in that kind of free roam position right now, and Frank-Yannick Kessié is doing great in midfield. So I say AC Milan will kind of go all the way. But I think it could go right down to the wire, just like you said, Ankit, the 13-14 season in the Premier League. Maybe there'll be a slip on the final day. Maybe Fikayo Tomori slipping over, giving the ball to maybe Dzeko or someone, and they being in goal. So
wow. That's like pretty specific. Yeah, that's Taron for you guys. Again, anyway, people do kind of follow Taron. His social links are below, and Taron knows his stuff. You all know it, right? As in, again, Taron, are you going for the Champions League game, by the way?
I am, yeah.
Okay,
I'll be sitting in front row, I think. So it's gonna be good.
Great.
Lucky.
Stamford Bridge will be rocking, right? And then again, quick, I'll ask you as well, Michael, because you've been following Serie A for a while as well. But what is your gut feel? What's your call? Who's going to win? By the way, this goes for the chat as well. Who's going to win Serie A?
I have no clue. You can't ask me. I don't think anybody knows at this point. First off, Milan they drew with Salernitana. They are terrible. They're a rock bottom. They have Frank Ribery, who's 39 years old, still playing for them. Yeah. Then Juventus draw to Torino. They should have lost that game. They were terrible, Juventus. Terrible. Allegri is just a negative manager. And then what happens to Inter? They lose to Sassuolo, and they looked absolutely exhausted. They look like a side that don't know what's going on. Lautaro Martinez hasn't scored since December 12th.
Yeah.
December 12th, he hasn't scored since. I don't know what's happened to him. Dzeko, you can't rely on him. I don't know what's happened to Inter. And then Napoli play tonight. They have to win, Napoli. I think this is now Napoli's maybe league to lose, because I can't trust Milan, because they play well against the top sides, and then they'll lose to Salernitano or Venezia or any of these sides. And Sassuolo are a bogey team. Do you know Sassuolo? They have lost to the bottom three teams in Serie A, but they have been Inter, Milan, and Juventus this season. I don't understand Sassuolo. It's really unbelievable. So Serie A, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know, but it's amazing to watch. Maybe, people can diss it and say, oh, it's not the same Serie A, but one thing it's very entertaining. That is for sure this season.
100%. Yes, again, people watching, and we are here obviously for the big night. It's going to be Champions of Europe, Champions of the World against Lille. So let's begin, discussing that. But before that, I have to certainly, as in remember Jamal Edwards. Very sad news today. Unfortunately, as in he's for people out there who don't know, he is one of the top, young music entrepreneurs who is basically a YouTube sensation. If I'm not wrong, SBTV, as well as obviously, bleed it blue always. This guy is a huge Chelsea fan, but unfortunately we have lost him. Condolences to his family. May his soul rest in peace. Just wanted to remember before the Chelsea Lille game. But yes, life moves on, and with that news as well, let's actually look at Chelsea. So first, I think in terms of Chelsea's form, you can say on paper we have what 5 wins on the trot, Taron, and we have done very well in Europe because at home in Europe we have been unbeaten in 4 games with no goals conceded. In fact, it's a perfect record, all 4 wins, last 4, right? And overall, also we have been unbeaten at home since September. I think it was the Man City game last. They want to jinx it, but Lille, on the other hand, again, like they are what 11th in Liga, and I don't know, like you can say they are reigning champions of Liga, but as well as top their group. They did well to top their group. Group G wasn't easy either, right? Quite competitive, but I think it's the only second time that they are in the round of 16. So no secrets, we should be favorites. And I think round of 16, Lille lost to Manchester United in 2007. So it's been a good while that Lille haven't been there. So it will be like their World Cup final. They definitely will go all out for it. But yeah, in terms of form, they haven't. I think they won only 2 wins out of 7. And they drew at the weekend 0-0 against Mets. Lowly Mets, and they got a red card as well. So nothing really going for them, Taron. But anything about Lille that Taron Chelsea should be wary about?
To be honest, Lille really disappointed me so much this season. They did lose some big players. We already know that, and it's not easy to kind of compete with PSG when they're spending not that much money, but bringing in world-class players into their team every single season. Last season was impressive, but like you said, 11th in Liga, and a league that's not, known to be that hard to finish in the top 4, even finish second or third in. And Lille have been disappointing in the group stages of the Champions League. They actually did impress me. I thought they did well to get out of their group. It's never easy, despite being the favourites in the group, being the top seed in the group. But they managed to get out of it. And we saw last season, I think the season before actually, with Lille, if you do give them time at that home ground, it's never easy. They do tend to kind of use the atmosphere of the crowd to kind of put you under pressure and kind of play a lot of long balls up and be very, very rigid in the defence. So we saw that when Willian scored a late goal, that it was a very difficult game to win, despite us being in stellar form under Lampard. So it's going to be difficult at the away ground. But at home, you have to back Chelsea 100%. Stamford Bridge is always rocking on Champions League night, especially the round 16. And despite our poor form recently and our poor kind of, I wouldn't say poor form, but our poor kind of way of playing, our poor possession play, our poor pressing, our poor striker up front, it's not easy right now. So I think we can still beat Lille, but like I said, the atmosphere is going to be difficult in the second leg. So if we are to kind of be comfortable, we need to be at least 2-0 up going into this second leg, and it could be a banana peel right now because Lille, you can say all about form this season, but let's forget they did somehow finish top of league last year, so they can pull anything out of the rabbit hat when they need to, with their players like Renato Sanchez, Burak Yilmaz, who had a poor Euros, but last season he looked like he was 21 again playing for Lille. So yeah, it's going to be a possible banana peel, but I think we'll go into it 2-0, and second leg, it's going to be a lot of defensive play at that difficult stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, a lot of things that we need to know about Lille, because that's exactly what we don't want to be doing. Like, just as world champions, we don't want to kind of, looking just at our form. It's definitely Lille. And I think that's the banana skin potential one at that, because I think talking about the manager, I don't know, Michael, at the start of the season, I think they got a new manager, and the old manager, obviously won them the league. But what is the reason that the old manager went to Nice? I'm not sure.
It was for transfer. He wanted more money to put into transfers, but they don't have the sort of money to spend. And Galtier then went to Nice, and look where Nice are. They're third, and Lille are now 11th or 12th in Ligue 1. So you can tell that the manager difference
It was the manager. It was
the manager, and also the goalkeeper Magnana, who's at AC Milan. He was the goalkeeper last year, so they've lost a lot of players. Right. Then they sold Icone in the January transfer window. So you're just, because he was going to be a free agent this summer, so they had to sell him to get some money back. But I mean, the biggest problem for Lille this season is, right, last year they only conceded 23 goals. And now they've already conceded 38 this season in Ligue 1. That's how they won the championship last year. They won games 1-0, 2-0. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done and they became Ligue 1 champions for the first time since Eden Hazard led them. So I think that's the biggest problem for Lille at the moment is defensively, they are not the greatest. And attack-wise, I mean, Yilmaz, who Taron talked about, was looking like 21 years old last year. I couldn't believe it, 17 goals. But now only 4 goals this season in Ligue 1. So that's a big problem. But, I mean, they got the best player from North America right at the moment, or second best player in North America, and that's Jonathan David. The guy is absolutely fantastic. I think he's a fantastic striker, only 22 years old. And I think he's going to become even better over time. And I think a lot of big clubs like Arsenal will go after him in the summer. I think you've definitely, if you're a big club, you should go after him because he's still going to get only better and better. But to be honest, if Chelsea don't win this tie, the world champions, as you guys like to put it, it would be a big shocker to me because I know Chelsea are not playing the greatest, and that striker up top having 7 touches in the whole game is pretty shocking. But
thanks for reminding us.
I just had to. I'm sorry, that was just the craziest stat.
Definitely we need to discuss that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But I just don't see how Lille are going to win this tie. If Chelsea have to win this first leg at home, if they don't, if it's a draw or if they somehow lose, you're in big trouble because going away to Lille, even though it hasn't been a fortress this season compared to last season, I thought. But, Ligue 1 crowds are very hostile and they can make it a difficult. So I think this is a must win for Chelsea. I think for Lille, they're going to use the same tactics as Real Madrid last week. Go for a draw. If they lose 1-0, I don't think it's the end of the world of them, but they don't want to lose by more than 2 goals. So Lille are struggling, but anything's possible in the Champions League, and we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. Because, it's interesting to speak about, the tactics, because I think if I'm not wrong, they play like 2 banks of 4 and they play like a 4-4-2.
Yep.
And one player actually who stood out, like I don't really watch him. I'm not going to claim that I'm going to watch Lille all the time. But for sure, like after they've, drawn Chelsea, a little bit here and there I've watched. And at the weekend especially, despite them getting that draw that I mentioned, I think Jonathan Bamba, I know you mentioned Jonathan David, but Jonathan Bamba was quite impressive to me, and Renato Sanchez off the bench, he looked quite impressive as well. Other than that, I think, I'll probably show what their expected lineup is. This is what I think they would expect to be lined up as. Again, people watching, anyone who is basically league an expert, feel free to comment. What do you think? But Taron, tactical wise, right? This is like proper 2 banks of 4, and one person is Timothy Weah, the son of the legend George Weah. Maybe he'll play, or I think Angel Gomez who's injured, so him, or maybe Hatem Ben Arfa comes in because he had that one moment against PSG, if at all. But I don't know, Taron, what do you think? What will be Chelsea's tactic? Do you see any changes in Chelsea's tactic considering that formation?
Yeah, firstly, I just want to say I thought Michael was going to say the best North American talent was Timothy Weah, and I was going to be like, no,
I'm not that biased. It's Alphonso Davies.
Yeah, 100%. I was like, no, but then you said that, David, and I was like, sure. But yeah, I think first of all with Lille, 2 banks of 4. People think 5 at the back is always the best way to be rigid, but you just use Burnley as an example. They have a very, very low rigid block, and then 2 pacey and kind of strong kind of players that play off each other. And Yilmaz and David have struck their partnership, so they're going to drop back. They're going to be deep, and they're going to try and do what most teams have done to us this season, which is just try and cause havoc, get close to Lukaku, stop him dominating the game, and stop our midfield players from dominating play. But in terms of Chelsea, it's a difficult one because Tuchel's really rotated between a 4 at the back and a 5 at the back over the last few weeks. It's mostly depending on opposition. I think he wanted more direct players against Palmeiras. We saw Hudson-Odoi on one side, and we saw, I think, Azpilicueta to be a bit more defensive. But I think he instructed Hudson-Odoi to just run at that Palmeiras right back. Didn't work. And yeah, against Crystal Palace, he instructed Hakim Ziyech to kind of free roam over the right, his kind of Ajax position, shall we say. So I think an interesting point to make is Tuchel kind of said the reason Ziyech didn't start in that final is because we played a 5 at the back, which is weird for me because is he saying Ziyech can't fit into our main formation and wants the Champions League? That would be quite disheartening for me if I was in that good of a form. But I think for this game, we have to go for 4 at the back, in my opinion. We have to use Hakim Ziyech to his full potential. Right now, we are getting, I wouldn't say near to the Ajax form, but we're getting there. We're finally getting somewhere after this whole kind of injury-stricken career that Ziyech's had. We're finally getting close to that form that made him win 3 back-to-back Ajax Player of the Year, the one that made him an absolute star for them against Tottenham in the Champions League, a star in many, many big games for them. So I think we have to build a team around Ziyech right now in this form. So yeah, I think we will kind of revert to a kind of, let's say, a the kind of 4-2-3-1 we were playing before with Malang Sarr, kind of that false left back as you have there. We know Tuchel doesn't favour Marcos Alonso as a left back, and I don't think anyone with any kind of football knowledge would want Alonso starting as a normal left back in that team. But I think a 4. You kind of predicted it just there, Ankit.
Come on, Taron. I mean, even after that world-class cross, you really think so?
That was a once in a 10 game thing, let's be honest, about Alonso. But I think having Pulisic centre midfield just looks very weird for me. I think he's more of a kind of attacking midfielder right there. But yeah, I think we will revert to a 4 at the back in this game. Malang Sarr has been good for me. He played that great passing behind to Kante against Crystal Palace. He's looking very good right now. But one thing I'd say is I do not want Lukaku to start this game, as controversial as it is. 7 touches, like Michael said. He can't keep getting rewarded for poor starts and poor performances, because we have players off the bench who play for the badge and can potentially put in a better job. And against Lille, do we necessarily need Lukaku in a game like this? I'm not quite sure. Against a low block, I think Lukaku's been pretty much lifeless against a low block. He's looked better when we've had some space to run into him behind. So I wouldn't start Lukaku. Yeah, Havertz up front for me in this game, definitely. Yeah. I don't want to start Christian Pulisic. Definitely not for me in this game. I wasn't impressed with him against Palace. I don't understand people saying that he should start because he's good against Palace in general.
But I'll just put in one quick point, because I felt, like you said, like Christian Pulisic is not really a central midfielder. Like, I know he kind of, was dropping a lot, but that's the thing. Like, Michael and I have spoken on multiple streams. Like, Christian Pulisic hasn't got that pure outright, left attacking role, left forward role, as in for games consistently. That's something. And now that, Callum Hudson-Odoi is, I think, not 100%, if I'm not wrong, coming to the injuries as well. I think probably it's the best chance, because, one thing you can say is that with Jose Font being on the other side, maybe you want to use a pace of Pulisic or maybe even a Werner. I don't know. That might be a thing that Jose Font, might be dragged. What do you think about that?
I will say that Ziyech and Werner looked very good at times last season together. I remember the Burnley game under Lampard where he played that great ball in behind to Werner, and it was a great connection. But yeah, like you said, we do kind of need someone direct in there. If Ziyech's going to be that technical kind of creative midfielder on the right wing, shall we say, we do need someone quite direct to kind of drive at players and open up the space. And I don't think Werner's quite that player, in my opinion. And now that Callum potentially will be out for this game, I didn't actually catch the press conference today. I'm sure you did.
It's actually going on right now, or it's already done, I think. People out there, anyone who got the press conference, it'll help if you kind of put in your comments, because it was coinciding with our stream. So as in a fair point that. So Taron, like, more or less, you are okay with this lineup except for Pulisic? Is that what I understand?
Yeah, just for me with Pulisic, I know people say he needs to be played in the left wing role to really utilize him, but in my opinion, he's not looked right for months. I don't know what's up with him, if he's still carrying an injury, if he's not in the greatest form, if he doesn't get along with Thomas Tuchel's tactics, if there's some kind of disagreement right there, but he is nowhere near the player he was back in the end of the lockdown kind of season.
Yeah.
And he's even said in an interview, I think it was with Chelsea on that Fit Stand Up, he said that he is completely fit right now. But why is he not in his complete form? Even if he's not on the left, you should see some signs of him that makes you think that he is getting back to his best and he is finally playing good. But I'm not seeing that, and I don't think he deserves to start on this. I think maybe we kind of bring in Werner, even if he's not direct. At least he can make them late man runs off the last defender, off Jose Font maybe. That Ziyech can whip them in behind to him. So I don't see why Pulisic should start. Kovacic for me should definitely start. Loftus-Cheek, I did not see that. Not for me for this game. But Saul, yeah, I'll definitely say.
Because Kante, as in, I'll come to Michael here, because Michael, looking at the lineup, and I know, Michael, we're going to discuss about the Liverpool game as well in the future, over the course of this week, I'm pretty sure, because that Carabao Cup final and Liverpool, the form that they've got towards the end of the second half over the weekend, for me, Kante needs to be saved, and that's the only reason why I had basically Kante on the bench and maybe, Loftus-Cheek, just because he played recently. But if you were Chelsea, what would you have gone? Would you have rested players for that big final? Would you have gone for a Kepa?
Don't know. I don't know what you guys want to do. Loftus-Cheek, has it been that sort of top player this season? I don't think so. This is a Champions League. You can kill off this tie in the first leg. If you win 4-0, it's done. So why not play N'Golo Kante there in the midfield? I mean, looking at that lineup, you're just providing no width from the fullbacks. That's the major problem I think, for Chelsea at the moment, because what is like Thomas Tuchel's sort of play? Does he want the fullbacks to get involved a lot? Yes, he definitely does. And clearly now with no Chilwell and Reece James, it's just killing this team badly, just because they provided all the attacking width for for Chelsea. And now without those two players, I think it was Reece James still out until the end of this month. Is that correct?
So he's got a flu actually. So that was a setback.
Okay.
He was on individual training, but unfortunately he's got a flu. So I don't see him, definitely coming back the next week or so at least. Right. My Mason Mount might be back for the weekend, but even it's too early for him as well. I think that's what it's our luck. I don't know, put it that way. But I think talking about the players who've not had much game time, Chalobah is one. Now Chalobah played for Lorient, was it last season? On loan in the Liga, so he might have played a lot of I think against Lille, so he might be having an idea. So Taron, would you be tempted? Christensen, I know first half he had like a half to forget against Zaha, but second half he gradually grew into the game, and Aspi is in 100%. So would you be tempted to put Chalobah just like Sarr has played in the French league? Would that be a factor?
I wouldn't say you should play someone because they played in the French league, but I would say if Chalobah is completely fit for this game, which right now at the time of this live, we're all not 100% sure. Maybe someone in the live chat can help out. Like you said earlier, if he is completely fit, I would start Chalobah. Just like Michael said before, Christensen and Sarr for me is way too defensive against a team like Lille. If it was maybe a team that played a bit higher, maybe we need a bit more defensive cover. I'd understand having 4 kind of centre backs in your team, but when you're playing against a low block, you do need someone who can overlap, whether it's Aspi, whether that's Chalobah, whether that's even playing, even a winger at fullback. If we even need to in this game, we do need more kind of penetration from some area of this pitch. And if we only have 4 centre backs on the pitch, not overlapping, not allowing Ziyech to make a false pass out wide and cutting inside, then I don't see how we can really break down this low block unless we just pass to Ziyech and hope for the best. So, yeah, I think if Chalobah's fit, we do play him for this game, but I'm not 100% sure if he's back, if he's 100% ready to start a big Champions League knockout game right now. But yeah, Christensen didn't really get forward at the weekend enough, in my opinion. He had a good few touches in the opposition box where he made a few crosses, but he's not natural. You can't expect Andreas Christensen to be an attacking threat for us at all, making overlapping runs at all. The only reason I can understand he's there is to cover Ziyech a bit more so he can stay forward. But then again, we have 3 midfielders in that lineup there to do that. Almost like Liverpool's kind of workhorses in the midfield. Sorry, Michael, to do that. So that's how I kind of think about this. And I don't think we should play 4 centre backs against Lille because it's just basically, defaulting our attacking tactics.
Yeah, exactly. And again, people do get in your predictions. It's Chelsea versus Lille. We are talking about first leg right now. So, Michael, what do you think? 2-0? 1-0? I think you went 1-0 on your channel. I remember that.
It's going to be 1-0. It's just what you guys do. You don't score a lot of goals, but you don't concede. It's going to be 1-0. But also, what Super Tommy Tuchel said in the comments that Chelsea has a curse of strikers. That's what Thomas Tuchel said. That's pretty crazy to say if you're a manager, but it's also true. Like, who's been the good strikers in the last 2 decades? Drogba, Diego Costa. That's it? Is that it?
Technically, Giroud and
who?
Demba.
Oh, Demba, yeah. But like a top striker. Let's not kid ourselves. You guys have paid a lot of money for strikers, and 2 of them have really worked out. So, I mean, this is now Lukaku's chance, but I don't think he's going to start, and he shouldn't start. Like Taron said, he doesn't deserve to start. If you're going to have 7 touches and look like that, and you're just going to keep playing terribly, what's the point of playing you? And also when Taron's talking about Pulisic, I just think now it's not even just the physical injuries, it's a mental thing for him. I don't know what is wrong. And he's talked about it actually in the past as well. He has a lot of mental issues. Obviously, in today's society, you can say that. And I think he really has expressed his deep thoughts with mental issues. So I'm worried for Christian Pulisic. I really am. I think this is definitely a turning point in his career. Either it's going to strive or it's going to go down, and I think it's now going towards a downward spiral for him in a little bit. So if I'm Thomas Tuchel, you got to start Timo Werner. I know Chelsea fans might say no, but might as well give the guy a chance. Why not? Maybe he can be the hero.
He had a good cameo in the last game, so why not try that? That's good. And your shout out to TCSB. They call us Sports Brothers. I am actually live on TCSB just exactly half an hour from now, right after the stream. So people do tune in TCSB. It's a very good upcoming channel. Very interesting. 2 brothers who run a sports channel, with one being a Real Madrid fan and one being a Swansea City fan. So really interesting that.
What the heck?
Exactly. That's really kind of rare. But yeah, certainly I wouldn't like that prediction though. But coming back to this, Sebastian, yes, masterclass from Ziyech, because it's Ziyech FC from the last couple of weeks, simply put. Shout out to Madrid pundits as well. As in Renato Sanchez, Jonathan David, yes, and we spoke about George Weah's son and whatnot. But again, they have Jose Font, and by the way, Jose Font is one card away along with Yilmaz, and they might get suspended. So I think that's a great point that Michael made about Timo Werner, because I really feel that he can be run probably, right. That's something that I would go. Sebastian Samuel Eto'o was hardly there for a season. Yeah, he did decent, but pretty strange that we let him go because of the old man celebration. I don't know that happened. I remember that was probably the reason between Jose Mourinho and him. But yes, 2-0 to Chelsea. That's exactly what I have gone for as well. Let's move on because yes, hoping Chelsea win, but yeah, then certainly there's another game, and that's actually literally a banana skin in my view, and that is of course Villarreal versus Juventus. Now again, it's yellow submarine against the old lady. For me, Villarreal in Europe, well, you can say they are Europa League holders. They have the pedigree because they have good evening. Sir, Mr. Unai Emery, who has won loads of Europa Leagues, but when it comes to Champions League, it's only the third appearance, I think, in the knockout. I think for Lille, it was the second. For Villarreal, I think the first two times they have got beaten by Arsenal in the knockouts. So it's interesting now. Finally, they have another team, and that's maybe them being lucky. I don't know. In Spanish La Liga, I think they're sixth. Juventus, we spoke about earlier, are fourth. But Juventus, technically, they are on a 7-game unbeaten run. Yeah, you can say that over the weekend against Torino, they weren't up for it, just like they weren't up for it against Atalanta. But again, 7-game unbeaten run, 8 consecutive appearance in knockouts. So Taron, I'll come to you. They had a massive January transfer window, Juventus. But Vlahovic making his debut in Champions League football. Do you think that is the X factor that Juventus needed for a tournament like the Champions League?
I think you hit the nail on the head with Dusan Vlahovic there. I think he's an absolute world-class striker. I'm going to go to those lengths with Vlahovic. I've watched him many times for Juventus this season with Fiorentina, especially since last season as well. And I think he's, in my opinion, better than Erling Haaland. It's a bold statement, but in terms of a more complete striker, a more mature striker, a more all-rounded striker, I think Vlahovic is someone that we should have really prioritized over Lukaku in the summer. I think he's absolutely amazing. And he is an old-fashioned striker, the striker that I really like. Someone that'll throw his body around, a great finisher, lethal, a great link-up player, a great mentality, someone that always just wants to score a goal no matter what, throw his body on the line. I think Vlahovic is absolutely fantastic. And I think Juventus were very smart to sign him before. In a few years, he could be worth hundreds of millions even. So I think, yeah, Vlahovic was a very, very good signing for Juventus. Morata wasn't quite cutting it this season. Moise Kean was never really cutting it for Juventus. And the goals are mostly coming from Chiesa. And now that he had a serious injury, that they had to find some other source. And before it got too late, they took someone off. I wouldn't say they're rivals in the table, but someone who was a very, very world-class striker from another team. And I think in the Champions League especially, you need players who will step up in the big night, step up, score goals, and take all the weight off the other player's shoulders to score. So I think Vlahovic is exactly that player. And against the players that Villarreal have, a centre-back, Ra Albiol, he's very old, and a few other old players they have, I think, yeah, Vlahovic is going to be the key in this game. And yeah, in my opinion, each team should have a top striker who they rely on to score goals. Right now, Chelsea try to do that, but it hasn't quite worked. But if you can incorporate that striker correctly, you can do amazing. We saw Man City at the weekend. They needed someone up front, like someone who could play off Silva, play off De Bruyne, but they didn't quite have that striker in the box. And it was just looked like they were crossing it into someone who's 5'4". So there's not really a point. So I think, yeah, each team needs a top striker for these big nights. And like I said before, I rate Vlahovic below Lewandowski and the second best striker in Europe.
Wow. That's cool. He has it in him. He has the elements, right, as in to make a top striker, right? But having said that, I think Villarreal, let's talk about them because, yes, I think how can Villarreal stop Vlahovic from scoring? Just a stat out there, I think, Michael, I'm pretty sure you will back me there. They have conceded only 1 in the last 4, and I think they got 10 out of 12 points in La Liga. I think at the weekend as well, they beat Granada 4-1, and I think their inform striker is Danjuma. Is that how you pronounce it? Danjuma, he got a hat-trick. I know Gerard Moreno, unfortunately, is not fit yet.
Yeah, he's out.
But yeah, I think Pino will probably be back. That's a decent winger. We played them in the Super Cup, and I'm pretty sure, he's someone who could, as in beat Juve. It'll be interesting what formation Juve goes for. But what do you think, Villarreal? Which are the players to be wary about if you're Juventus?
Well, definitely Danjuma, who's been on excellent form recently. Obviously, with no Gerard Moreno, that's a real shame because he's I think a fantastic striker. But you guys are forgetting one Premier League former player. He's on loan from Tottenham, Giovanni Lo Celso. He's also there.
Yes,
So
yes.
so he's
Is he
going to provide.
injured?
No,
I heard
he played over the weekend. He played over
Okay.
the weekend. I don't know if he's injured or not, but he played over the weekend. Obviously, you talked about Pino. I mean, the thing for Villarreal is they play very, I think, attractive football. Who they like to press, right? And if you're looking at the manager battle, who's got the better manager? For me, right now, it's Villarreal because Allegri is just old school. He's a dinosaur. I don't know what it is with this guy. He is honestly just a dinosaur when it comes to tactics. Low block, 4-4-2. We don't concede and we don't score. That's what he is. I mean, they got outplayed by Torino. And no disrespect to Torino, but look at Juventus' squad. Yes, and I don't think there's going to be Dybala. He's injured. There's no Chiesa, of course. I think Bernardeschi isn't. Rugani is out. No Chiellini, maybe. No Bonucci. So a lot of question marks for Juventus, but they got that man, Dusan Vlahovic. And I think it's an absolutely amazing signing from Juventus. I was very scared when they signed him because he is going to be a fantastic striker in the future. But very, very interesting to see how Juventus will approach this game. You know Allegri. He's going to go for a draw. He's going to go for a 0-0. That's what he's going to do. And I don't know what wingers they're going to play. I think they're just going to try and play like a 4-4-2 sort of formation and maybe have Weston McKennie and Rabiot as the wingers. That's even crazier to think about. And they'll have Morata and Vlahovic as the two strikers. I think that's how Juventus will approach this game.
They might go 4-3-3, don't you think so? Because I think with as in they don't have natural wingers, do they? So it's only, it makes sense for them to go 4-3-3. Morata can be like, as in just dropping off as in.
But then who's the other winger?
Bernardeschi.
He's injured, I think, as well for this game.
No, Bernardeschi, I just read it. Bernardeschi is fit, but I think the person, obviously, Chiesa is a long time. I think Chiesa, when is he back? Probably summer itself.
ACL tear, so he might be out for a long time.
Exactly. And Pellegrini is out probably as well. So I don't see a lot of options that Juventus have. So I think it's interesting because, as in knowing of all these injuries, Taron, I don't know who's the centre back left. Danilo, he plays a centre back, Taron? Wow.
I think he potentially could play there because he's not very good going forward and he's much better defensively. Daniele Rugani, is he still playing for Juventus these days?
He's injured. So Rugani is out, Bonucci is out, and Chiellini is out. All three are out.
So they might have to move someone from midfield into centre-back. That's the only thing I can say. Maybe Manuel Locatelli could do a job there in this game. That's maybe the only one I could think of to kind of play centre-back.
Game on.
Exactly, sure. And with the pressing of Villarreal, like Michael said, that kind of Emery ball, that never really worked in the Prem due to the poor squad that Arsenal had back then, maybe for Emery ball. But I think, that's going to be difficult for Juventus to have to deal with that. They can't potentially play a low block with Locatelli in that game. They're going to have to play a bit more expansive because we've seen it with Tottenham, for example, under Mourinho. They tried to play low block with Eric Dyer and other centre-backs who weren't very good defensively, and it just caused too much onslaught to Dyer they couldn't deal with. So I don't see how Manuel Locatelli, someone who's naturally a box-to-box midfielder, could potentially even deal with that much of an onslaught, especially with Danilo maybe helping him, who's more of a right-back. I don't see how they can deal with that. So the only thing that I can say for Juventus, if Allegri is watching right now in the chat, is try and be forward. Try and play forward a bit more in this game because you don't have the defenders to play a low block. Try and play a bit more expansive, even if it's not pressing. Just play your actual wingers, not McKennie and Rabiot. Play some players who can actually be direct and get forward, and just use Vlahovic because we saw it again. I'm going to be making another comparison. Joao Felix at Atletico is such a waste because you're playing a really tricky player in a really poor tactical kind of attacking setup. Same with Vlahovic. He needs a more attacking setup around him to really thrive as an attacking force, so he can get onto the end of chances. So if I was Allegri, I would definitely be more expansive and not waste this poor kind of injury list right now.
Interesting. And again, 15 of you watching, everyone watching, please do smash the like button. Check out the description. Taron's social links are there. And of course, Michael Talks Football, one of the great channels. I would highly recommend it. Not just that, we have in the chat Chelsea Perspective. Do check out Chelsea Perspective as well. Madrid Pundits, very good upcoming channel. And TCSB, like I said, and I'm live on TCSB, just maybe 20 minutes from now. That's what I would assume. But anyway, and certainly, a lot of content out there coming in the coming weeks as well. And big up to DJ Sarah for joining. And please do take that poll. One person probably can help Juventus create those chances is Cuadrado. But again, Cuadrado, I think, is on yellow, so he gets suspended for the second leg. So I think everything, Michael, is moving towards a potential upset. Like, honestly, I can see this upset happening because Juventus, they have not secured top 4 either in Serie A. So, and we know last season they lost to Porto in the round of 16. Before that, they lost to Lyon. So it's there in the minds, don't you think?
Then Ajax previously.
Oh, yeah.
So they're just bottle jobs. But that was with obviously Ronaldo, so maybe that was the curse for them. Having Ronaldo was just losing to lesser teams. But if I'm a Juventus fan, I'm not 100% confident into this game. I just know what Allegri's gonna do. He's just gonna defend, and he can't do that. Over the weekend, I think he had Alexandro as the other center back next to De Ligt. If you've been watching Alexandro recently, the guy is just not good defensively. So if you have players like Danjuma and obviously Estupinian or Serge Aurier as well, they're basically just a North London team, basically, Villareal. They got the Arsenal manager and the Tottenham players. That's what they are. But with the way Villareal played in the group stage, especially, I think they absolutely dominated Manchester United and Old Trafford. Just was an epic comeback by United. So I think Villareal can definitely cause trouble to this Juventus team. And all Juventus have to do is just not lose by more than 2 goals. But I think, honestly, there could be an upset in the cards in this matchup. I really do.
Okay, so I think it's time for predictions. People in the chat, do getting your predictions. By the way, people who joined late, we did cover Super Sunday. We did a quick roundup. We did cover Chelsea's big game against Lille. So do check it out if you've missed it. A lot of stats and a lot of kind of discussions that we did. But yes, coming to the predictions, I'll come to the chat. But before that, again, take the poll. What about you, Taron? What are you going for in this first leg?
I can't Juventus winning this at all, and I can't believe we lost them 1-0, even if Chiesa was fit back then. They're awful, like Michael said, and with their key kind of Italian stallions missing that defense, they really have no hope right now. So yeah, Villarreal, Estupinian, Danjuma, Etienne Capoue, if he's fit in the midfield, they do have the firepower to beat Juventus. So I'd say a 2-1 win with a Vlahovic goal, just because I've gassed them up a lot in this show. So I'll say a Vlahovic goal and 2-1.
Interesting. By the way, again, there are multiple people watching. Again, yes, you have to subscribe to comment, and that's the way it is. Trust me, it's just a press of a button, and that's something that we are working towards. It certainly helps the channel, and do put in your comments. And we are having a prediction league going on that we'll be publishing it at the end of the month. So do get in your predictions as well. And the thing is, if we get to 2,000 subscribers by end of next month, we will certainly have an award for the prediction league as well. And that's something that I've gone on record saying, which I will not change. Coming to you, Michael, what's your prediction?
Taron hit its nail on the head. It's going to be 2-1 Villarreal. I just think this Villarreal side, they have to win this game at home. But Juventus, I think they will still win this tie because they'll get, I think, some players back for the second leg. But I think Villarreal will take this at the, what's the stadium called? But I don't know what the stadium is called. The Yellow Submarine will march their way to a win here.
Interesting. Again, it's interesting that many people have gone for Villarreal to get the upset, including myself. Just when I said I wouldn't be surprised if Allegri goes all defensive after watching PSG Real Madrid match. As in I don't know, away goals. I was thinking away goals, not being there is probably a good thing for football, and they just go all out because anyway it doesn't matter. But other way around, I think the side which is going to play second at home is probably have a slight advantage. So that's the reason at first leg they might want to defend, and then probably take it at home, right? So I don't know, Taron, what is your think about these away goals, moving out? Is it something that's working or?
I mean, it's something new to adapt to. Just like when VAR came in, it was something to adapt to. It didn't really look like it was working when it came in, but that is something completely different because that's the awful Premier League humans who can't officiate a game. But in terms of this, this new kind of rule, I was always a fan of away goals because we haven't really seen it before in football, maybe in some other kind of remote kind of leagues. But I think it's such a unique factor, and I really liked everything about it. It caused teams to be more attacking maybe when they're playing away from home because they can get an away goal, and that can, cause more benefits. When they're at home, they can just defend in that game. But now it's changed. I think UEFA maybe got a bit bored and a bit stale. They saw the Super League thing happening inside, we're going to try and change our thing to make it more exciting. But we saw in that Real Madrid game, Ancelotti, sorry about that. Ancelotti just tried to kind of sit back and kind of defend and take it back to the Bernabeu with a 0-0 draw. And that just caused the tie to be so boring, so stale. One of the most exciting ties we have in the whole of this round of 16 to be one of the most boring games we've seen in Champions League history. It was absolutely awful, in my opinion, apart from that Mbappe goal at the end. So I think, especially with Allegri, with this new rule, you have a very defensive manager with a very defensive rule. It's just going to be some kind of Diego Simeone thing times 100 right now. So I'm not really expecting a lot from Allegri. But this rule is is not my favorite thing. And I thought it was such a unique factor that it should have stayed, in my opinion.
Exactly. Talk about boring. I actually shared that on the last live stream as well, Taron, like just to share with you guys on the panel. So what happened is, obviously international fans, the time difference and stuff, right? It's literally 4 a.m. by the time it ends the match. I waited the entire game, watched Messi, miss the penalty, and then waited the 90 minutes and then went to sleep. Just for us, injury time or stoppage time, and then Mbappe scored, and I had to watch the highlights again in the morning. Wow, like that is what football gets you, right? But yeah, as in, I don't know, Michael, like I know, as in, we have a couple more games, and we're going to cover that tomorrow. We're going to do another live stream. We have a couple of United Ultras in the house. Certainly, people do join in. It's at 10 p.m. IST. But Michael, quick predictions for the other games because you're here. What do you think? Atletico, United, both teams winning finally at the weekend.
This game is probably the hardest one to call in the tie. Who knows what's going to happen? You know what's the thing about Diego Simeone now? His sides are always defensive. They are terrible defensively, absolutely atrocious. I have never seen a Diego Simeone side defend so badly. And with Manchester United, they can't defend either. They bottle leads quicker. So it's just going to be, I don't know, a very topsy-turvy sort of matchup, and then very unexpected. It could be either 3-0 Atletico, it could be 3-0 Manchester United, it could be 3-3, 2-2, it could be 0-0. I don't know what to expect. I went with an Atleti win. I thought they were going to win 2-1, but then when it goes back to Old Trafford, Ronaldo will step up and win the tie for, obviously, Manchester United. And then in the other game, Benfica-Ajax, Benfica are in absolute chaos at the moment. They have a lot of off-field issues. They've been alleged of doing match fixing as well with the referees and stuff like that. So Benfica are in a lot of trouble, not just on the field and off the field. And Ajax have conceded 1 goal since December 12th. They have conceded 10 goals in all competitions this season. They are on absolute form. If I'm any team left in the Premier League, the Champions League, I would definitely avoid Ajax at the moment. They are a fantastic side, and I think they're going to absolutely steamroll Benfica. Watch now Benfica win the game. You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, as in with Ajax, like that's the thing, right? As in probably they have unfinished business as well from a couple of years ago, right? So it'll be really interesting that game. But Taron, what's your call on those games?
Same, kind of echoing what Michael said with Ajax. I think they're up there with Bayern Munich and Man City in terms of the best team, and Liverpool, obviously, in terms of the best teams in Europe right now. I'm surprised that Ten Hag has kept consistent all these years, despite players leaving, despite very few signings coming in. The way he's used a West Ham flop in terms of a top Champions League scorer is absolutely amazing, and I think he's done a very good job. So I think Ajax will absolutely batter Benfica, in my opinion. I thought Benfica were quite good in their first game against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. They were quite good, but then after the 70th minute mark, they completely collapsed, and they kind of withdrew their rear guard for that game. So yeah, I think Ajax will absolutely steamroller them. And let's go Man United. I don't like Man United, and I don't like the way they play under Rangnick. I don't like the way Ronaldo plays anymore. I don't like their defense. I don't like their midfield, but I don't like Atletico equally. So I'm going to have to be honest and say I think Man United will win, just because I think Atletico have been in a downward spiral for, even though they won, we can say that they won La Liga last year based on the fact that Real Madrid and Barcelona were so poor. Yeah. I think we can all agree that. So I think they've been in a downward spiral for many years. Simeone needs to find a new club very soon, because it's just getting very, very stale. Like Sean Dyche at Burnley, it's just not working anymore. We need more attacking managers in these great teams. So yeah, I think Man United will unfortunately win that game, and it'll be a Ronaldo clutch goal late on. Unfortunately, it has to be.
Well, then it could be Chelsea versus Man United in the quarterfinals. Don't you guys want that?
Oh, that'd be something. Liverpool,
they're always very good against us. So Jorginho passed the ball to Sancho. You know what happens. So
yeah.
Again, Man United fans in the house. No offense, but yeah, it is what it is. Like what it is, right? As in, it's positive banter and rivalry at the utmost, right? We love that, right? Let's see it, and it'll be really interesting. But again, like I said earlier in the stream, we did an English stream today after a long while. Hopefully, we'll have many for international fans as well. But it is for everyone, so I hope everyone kind of like this, and we'll kind of alternate this. But we'll be back tomorrow. In fact, I think the whole of the week we are live. So please do join us. Anyone who's watching. Yes, we have I think a couple of United Ultras in the house tomorrow. And we're probably going to be discussing Europa League on Wednesday. And of course, then comes the build-up to the big Carabao Cup final that I'm pretty sure Michael is waiting for eagerly as well. But Michael, since you're in the house, quickly I'll take a call on that as well. What do you think, Carabao Cup? What would be the difference maker in that final?
I hate this trophy because I think it's irrelevant and
Oh,
doesn't serve any purpose in the club's history, I believe. But because it's Chelsea, I just really want to win this trophy. Just because it's Chelsea, that's the only reason why. Otherwise, I could care less about this Carabao Cup.
exactly the same. Exactly the same to you.
Honestly, I could honestly care less about this trophy. If it's FA Cup, that's more obviously of a glorious tournament. I mean, trophy, excuse me. But for this game, I mean, I expect Liverpool to win. With the way we're playing and with the way Chelsea are playing, I think this is not going to be very high scoring. I don't think it's going to be the same sort of game that we saw at Stamford Bridge, where it's Liverpool took the 2-0 lead. I didn't think Liverpool played well at all in that game in Stamford Bridge. I thought Chelsea actually deserved to win the game, to be honest. I thought we were very lucky because Chelsea just made 2 mistakes. But on the game for Sunday, I think it's going to be 1-0 Liverpool. I just think it's going to be 1-0 Liverpool. Is it going to be pretty? No, because I think Chelsea will switch then to a 5-in-the-back formation. Watch Chelsea play 5 center backs. This could be what Chelsea do, I think, on Sunday. They could play 5 center backs, and that would be horrible to watch. But I mean, if you want a trophy, this is what you have to do.
How could you forget the Christian Pulisic goal? Like, he's the man in form against Liverpool.
Oh, God, not again. If he scores again against Liverpool, I'm going to be done.
I know we kind of covered in the stream together. That was fun. But yeah, big up to Devils United and Maisie. Man United fan, as you're speaking about Man United. Good to have you. Certainly, Maisie. Very good channel that you have. But Taron, a quick prediction from you as well. I know we'll probably be discussing again. But certainly with Michael in the house, have to get in there, right?
Yeah, you're not a true fan if you predict a loss for your team, so I have to go with the Chelsea win for this game. What I will say is every time Chelsea have played Liverpool recently, apart from maybe the Frank Lampard 5-3 game, we've looked promising, in my opinion. We've looked like we have signs in that game against Liverpool, the 2-0. The way we came back in that game, despite all of our injuries going into it, was so promising, and we deserve to win, like Michael said. So, yeah, I think we'll win. I'd even say 2-0 because Tuchel really masters these cup competitions, whether it's the Champions League, whether it's the FA Cup, the Club World Cup, the Super Cup. Tuchel's football, let's be honest, may not be prepared right now with the players we have for a Premier League 38-game season, but it's definitely prepared to win that odd knockout game. And he will have a plan to beat Liverpool in that 90 minutes, and he will have a plan to get up against Jurgen Klopp, who is, his main rival, who he's always followed at different clubs. And he will really want to beat on Sunday. So I'm going with the 2-0 win. Why not Lukaku goal, I think, in this game to score 2 goals even, maybe. Every time I say something on stream or on Twitter, it always comes back to bite me within less than 30 minutes. So, yeah, I think Lukaku will definitely score in this game. And, yeah, Van Dijk could have a really hard day against our very lethal and a striker who has a lot of touches of the ball. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you won't go for a Kepa, penalty save. As in, I know we spoke about Kepa in length in the previous stream, Taron. But yeah, then it'll be interesting what lineups we go for. And by the way, yeah, we'll be live for this as well on Friday. But yeah, certainly great discussion. That again, thanks a lot to the panel for everyone joining in the chat as well. If in case you missed it, the earlier part, do rewatch it. People who are rewatching now as well, do put in your comments. And of course, check out the description for Michael Talks Football, especially a great channel. This guy knows his stuff inside out, and so does Taron. Do give him a follow on social media. Quick, word from Michael. Anything to share about what streams you're coming up with, brother?
Tonight it is Atleti versus Manchester United preview. Got an Atleti and a couple of Man United fans coming on the stream, so very excited. Thank you for having me on, as always, Ankit. Always a pleasure being here, and obviously with Taron. So, I mean, nothing much else to say about this week other than Champions League football content and obviously Europa League and Conference League, because nobody talks about the Conference League, I think, except for me, to be honest. I don't see anybody else talking about Randers.
I eventually will. Thanks to Michael, I'm getting there.
Hey, you got to look at Bodo Glimt, man. They're doing well against Celtics. So, yeah, but thank you for having me on as well, as always. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Talks-Michael, and obviously YouTube and Instagram, Michael Talks Football. Thank you very much for having me on, Ankit, as always. And Liverpool will win on Sunday, by the way. And Lukaku will not score. If Lukaku scores 2 goals, I am not going on YouTube for a while. That's all I got to say.
Oh, my God. But yeah, Taron, final words from you, brother.
Yeah, just similar kind of things. Thanks so much for having me on. Sorry I was a little bit late today, but yeah, always great to have a great tactical discussion with 2 tactical masters, I would even say. Future tactical analysts, both of you guys. So yeah, great to come on. Love Michael's coverage of AFCON. Love Michael's coverage of Champions League. Always great to be on his streams. And Ankit's always being consistent, always doing streams to provide content for you guys in live chat. So give him a like. This guy works hard to create good content for you guys. And yeah, if you do, you could follow me on TikTok, guys. And in the comments, I know it's not the same scene as you guys on here right now. If anyone has this vivo.football, which means I love football in English. I live football, sorry. I do a lot of different football interviews on there, which is very unique content. So, Mike, I don't know if you can check that out. You guys in the chat can check that out. All check out, and I'm sure you'll love that content because it's quite good. It's quite good.
Absolutely. And again, shout out to Shrey FC. No problem, brother. You can always rewatch the stream. We will be putting timestamps like we always do. And like I said, it is a fan channel for all to see. Yes, there is a lot of audience that we have from India, but again, a lot of international audience. So that's why we did a purely English stream today. We'll come back with a mix of the two, and hopefully you like this. And of course, it's language of football, like I always say. But having said that, I think one quick announcement is like I'm going to TCSB. That's they call us Sports Brothers. It's a new channel, but do check that out as well because I'll be live on that channel. I'm expected to be live any moment, but yeah, hopefully I'll be there in a couple of minutes. But again, thanks everyone to join in. And until next time, take care. We'll be back tomorrow live around the same time and up the Chelsea.